Ministers, Excellency, Her Majesty Ambassador, Chevening Fellows, distinguished guests, all protocols observed. We are honored of your presence at this event, organized by the Chevening Alumni Madagascar Association, the first of its kind entitled UK-Madagascar 200 Years Relationship. What has been done and what is next? Chevening scholarships are the UK's main international awards program, enabling outstanding professionals with leadership potential from 144 countries in the world to undertake a master's degree courses in UK universities since 1983. We are a community of 58 members awarded the scholarship throughout the last 30 years. So within the Chevening Scholarship, our majors encompass the most vibrant and crucial fields of specialties for the countries. These can range from accounting, business administration, diplomacy, education policy, environment, land management, sustainable development, public health, sustainable energy, tourism, women's studies. The mission of the Chevening Alumni Madagascar Association is threefold: to develop and strengthen endless ties between our alumni and the professionals by providing diverse, tangible benefits, including network opportunities; to promote the opportunity of UK universities and Chevening Scholarship Scheme for high potential future leaders in Madagascar; reach out to alumni to give back their time as volunteers, their assets, advocacy, and perpetuate this sense giving back to duty for upcoming scholar generations. This event is called the Chevening Alumni Forum, and this first edition is entitled the UK-Madagascar 200 Years of Cooperation, What Has Been Done and What Is Next, and will consist of two simultaneous activities today. First, the Chevening Conference, and second is an exhibition. The Chevening Conference event comprises a series of successive discussions around the following three topics: conservation, international development, and business. We aim to make the conference a promising day to inspire, discuss, and share ideas and knowledge for change and the leadership in the future partnerships between the UK and Madagascar. Panelists will range from key researchers of UK and Madagascar universities to key profiles from professional bodies. They will share their experience from long-time activities and research in Madagascar. Again, thank you all very much indeed to honor this event, and wish you all fruitful forum. Thank you.
Honourable Ministers, I think I can say His Excellency the Ambassador to the United Kingdom, designate, and Chevening Fellows, distinguished guests. I've been introduced as coming to give a speech. Those of you who know me know I don't do speeches, I don't write speeches, I just talk until I get a sense that the audience is getting bored, and then I stop. So that's pretty much what I'm going to do now as well. That's not quite true in a way. We have 200 years or 201 years since the first treaty was signed between our two islands, our two archipelagos. The UK has never really had a strong development relationship with Madagascar. I may as well be honest about that. We actually give £60 million a year to Madagascar through multilateral institutions, but it is well known that on conservation there are so many UK NGOs working here. Kew Gardens, Blue Ventures, Durrell. There's a long list and a long history of UK partnership on conservation in Madagascar. Now, key to all of these priorities, development, conservation and business, is education, and that's where Chevening. The graph of the number of scholarships per year, it is rising and rising. This year we've had a record number of Chevening scholarships, and I'm pleased to announce today that BP has agreed to fund 2 extra Chevening scholarships in science and technology in Madagascar. That education can benefit anybody from any walks of life and allow them to go on and actually do something for their country, which is what I'm trying to do now. And that really is at the heart of Chevening as well. There is sometimes a tendency to think that these scholarships are for people who are already doing well, people who are already from a privileged background, and nothing could be further from the truth. And you have my personal guarantee that when we look at applicants, we want to have as diverse a range of applicants and successful candidates as possible, whether it's on gender, on ethnicity, religion, or social background. And believe me, I care a lot about the last one. Thank you all for your attention. I think I'm now sensing the energy dropping, so I'm going to do my stopping of the speech and get on to the important thing, which is your alumni forum. I'm so delighted that this is happening. I'm so delighted that you asked me to speak. I want you to have a great day, and I look forward to seeing and hearing about all of your reactions on social media and elsewhere. So thank you.
Doutor Masuvuni, Grã-Bretanha, Igreja Manutani, Kansakavati, Elizabeth, Rahu, Sim, Feminina Britânica, e Madagascar, Doutor Masuvuni, Madagascar, Botendi, and Bretanha. And I really want to Chevening Alumni Madagascar, to plage ici to Vav.
Dia utohizako amin'ny teny-drazantsika ny fandraisanay fitenenana eto. Voninahitra ho ahy ny mandray anjara amin'izao fihaonana voalohany mainty molala ny Chevening Alumni eto Madagascar izao. Koa mamela ahy ianareo raha manantitra ny fialan-tsiny nampitaina Andriamatoa Prime Ministre izay soloiny tenanay toerana eto. 200 taona tokoa izay no nisiany fifandraisan'ny Madagascar sy UK, ary tsy zoviana amintsika fa anisan'ny fifandraisan'ny fanjakana malagasy voalohany amin'ny firenena any ivelany. Raha tsongaina manokana ny fifandraisan'ny firenena rotota tao anatin'ny taona vitsivitsy izay dia tsara ny manamarika fa ao anatin'ny vondrona Europeanina no sehatra tena iroborobony zany araka ny voalaza n'Andriamatoa Masuvuni UK teo. Fiomanan'ny firenena Britanika hiataka amin'ny vondrona Europeanina dia manamarika ihany koa ny fivoaran'ny fifandraisana iraisam-pirenena. Zany dia manaingatsika hamaritra indray tondrozotra vaovao ho an'ny fifandraisana roa lafy eo amin'ny firenena rotota dia i Madagascar sy UK. Ianareo matomolala ny Chevening Alumni. Tiako ny manamarika ny fankasitrahanareo nanomana izao fihaonana izao. Izao tokoa mantsy dia marika ny fandraisanareo andraikitra amin'ny famelomamaso ny fandraisan'ny Madagascar sy UK. Ianareo raha teo mo amin'ny mahamainty molala ianareo dia tsy mpanohizana eo amin'ny firenena rotota, mirary fihaonana feno fahombiazana ho anareo ny tenanay, ary mirary koa raha mirary ny fampiasana ny tolo-kevitra mivoaka amin'izao fikonan-doha izao mba hanatsarana ary hanamafisana ny fifandraisana eo amin'ny firenena malagasy sy ny firenena britanika. Mankasitraka tompoko vavy, mankatelina tompoko lahy.
The first official commercial treaty between the UK and Madagascar was signed back in 1870. Investments were made by the London Missionary Society to enable literacy and basic education in Madagascar. Through this different intervention, we want to engage and in terms of our commitment to move forward towards this inclusive and sustainable development. This is not just about developing our commercial and economic interest. It is more bigger than that in terms of form and symbolism. It is a strong signal to the UK of our commitment to reinforce more and more our bilateral relations. Thank you indeed for your attention.
So what is the African Continental Free Trade Area, or that is most commonly known as the AFCFTA? The agreement was signed back in March this year, and it was a historical landmark in our history as Africans. It means in practice that a country like Madagascar, with 25 million of inhabitants, can be part of a much bigger market of more than 1 billion people. Of course, from a development perspective, there are challenges. There are immediate benefits to be seized. We export mostly unprocessed products, agricultural products that have no value addition in most cases, although we do quite well actually compared to others when it comes to our agro-industry sector. And that bigger market and attracting investors that actually would use Madagascar as an entry point to that bigger market would be an opportunity to develop those value chains. The same applies to minerals, to the mining sector, although it is a sector that is more difficult for countries like ours to add value to without the support of large FDI groups, foreign direct investors, because it's capital intensive. The big point about tourism is that, again, our studies demonstrated when it comes to Africa, if you want to reach women and youth, invest in tourism. It is It's got a high intensity in terms of job creation for the youth, for under 25, and this is valid across actually other parts of the world, not just in Africa. It is a sector that benefits from regional integration. If we want massive results, then the solution is, again, to paraphrase Tony Robbins, is massive action. So how do we move into that zone of believing that we can always do more if we want to do better? And if we aspire for greater results, then every single one of us must be part of investing in the massive action that is required. Thank you very much for your attention.
My question is, because Madagascar doesn't speak English, and we have not enough aid, the UK can contribute more in Madagascar.
Madagascar is not the only country in Southern Africa that doesn't speak English. So, humanitarian assistance from the UK, so in the case of famine, conflict resolution, these sorts of things, natural disaster responses, is completely culture blind and language blind. When Hurricane or Cyclone Enawo hit Madagascar, the UK came in with a large amount of humanitarian disaster relief. Development assistance is a bit different. If we lived in a global utopia, then the UK would have development programs based on the size of population and need, and it would all be very proportionate and well calculated. But we don't live in a world with that history. What we actually live in is a world where different countries have different levels of relationships due to the history. And it is a point of fact that the UK's history with, let's say, Kenya or Uganda is a deeper and longer relationship than it has been with Madagascar, because of the colonial period and the colonial past, etc. So when we want to carry out a development program in Kenya, say, we have a much deeper set of networks, of understanding of the country, of interlocutors, shared cultural exchanges and so on, when we can build on that and build a development program in Kenya. Now, in Madagascar, we don't have that base yet. And it is the job of people like me to come here and build that base. And that's partly what we do with Chevening. And it's what we do with all sorts of... We had a presidential visit to the UK last year. Princess Anne came here. And it is to develop that base. Now, you may say, and others may say, you should never have left 200 years ago. You should have stayed here and been a better and bigger friend over 200 years. Well, we can debate that, but as a diplomat, I have to work with what we've got and build on it. And that's what I'm doing, and that's what I hope to do over the next few years here.
You need to depend on your ability to make a successful hire. You need to have the best people at the right place. It's been more than 8 years now that I've been in the field of HR. So my sharing today will be based on what HR professionals are confronted with daily when it comes to sourcing, training, and developing the human capital if they need to grow the business. The main observation I can share with you is the mismatch between what schools provide in terms of curriculum, and by school I mean university, professional training institute, with what the private sectors demand. My point is this, things are changing here in Madagascar and a different mindset is needed. Malagasy businesses are opening up and accept to take ownership of their problems. I think the context is ripe now to welcome investors and businesses. It's no longer about the traditional duality between English and French-speaking business. No, this is over. Malagasy people or businesses we are dealing with right now in response to this above solicitation, regardless of the countries of origin of investors, are keen on working with foreign businesses or as partners as long as they see the benefits.
I'm the managing partner of John W. Fuchs & Co., which is a full-service corporate law firm with offices in Madagascar, Mauritius, and Senegal. So I guess the first thing I can say about investing in Madagascar is that I genuinely feel that Madagascar offers unique business opportunities for the right investor, but this is important, for the right investor with the right appetite for risk. What can be done to improve the image of Madagascar as a viable investment destination country for British businesses? Lots of things, but very briefly. First of all, the country, in my opinion, needs targeted and attainable policies that can have an impact on increasing FDI flows, boosting fiscal revenues, reducing poverty, creating jobs, and building entrepreneurial capabilities, which when all together combined, I know there are many big things I've just said there, but they will genuinely help improve Madagascar's capacity to produce goods and services. To this end, steps have been made in the right direction. Specific areas of legislation that have been identified by policymakers are in the process of being updated to improve two things that we really like as investors: predictability and stability.
Developing business and generate in a sustainable way return to shareholders, wealth and growth to host community and host country, to contribute to poverty alleviations, and to contribute to biodiversity conservation, I think is quite a complex opportunity and challenge. It was negotiated during 6 years. And we finally reached an agreement in 1998. This framework has been approved, adopted by the Parliament of Madagascar, so this is a law of Madagascar. This is one of the first benefits from this investment: lack of infrastructure, the hotspot in terms of biodiversity, lack of technical capacity, governance issues, challenges, yes, overcoming still there. Opportunities, I would say, to end on my introduction, as I said, looking ahead, the aim is really to be profitable first, to ensure a sustainable return to our shareholders. We have built a strong operations. So this is the first thing, looking ahead. The second thing is we need really to revive the foundations that have been fragilized by years of political crisis. And the third and last is partnership to operate.
General Rakotosafi Dominika, Ministry ny Fiarovana teo aloha. Misy fitoviana zana BDP a Madagascar sy Grande-Bretagne raha lafiny géographique. Zany hoe nosy kely manakaiky continent anankiray. Io a na amin'ny lafiny fiarovana firenena io a na amin'ny lafiny relation internationale zany na investissement hoe fa maninona ry zareo no tafavoaka. Mety hisy vahaolana ave ao anatin'izay amin'ny alalan'ny tantaran'ny firenena roa tota.
From the private sector perspective, let's be clear, I think it is very, very important for SMEs and indeed individuals look to trade with mainland Africa. I mean, you're not that far away from Mozambique. It's across the channel. A big economy in itself. Tanzania, up a bit. Kenya, up a bit even more. South Africa, a direct flight away. Aside from Mauritius, where there are historically been important trading routes, I think it is important to try, where one can, to try and improve trade and business between Madagascar and mainland.
Today you are going to talk about lemurs, not about giraffes, not about tiger. We don't have that. 20% of the old biodiverse primates are found in this island, and they are lemurs. And that's why we're here. We have to focus not on the problem. We have to focus on the solution. The involvement of the local community is crucial. Every year, starting in 2014, we celebrate the Old Lemur Festival. And tomorrow, you'll celebrate the Inri Festival in Andasi Bay. That is the one way to stop lemur hunting. Friends of lemurs. You can be friends of the lemurs. You have to involve children, adults, at any age, at any gender. If Australia is proud of having the kangaroo, if New Zealand is proud of having the kiwi, if Malaysia is proud of having the orangutan, if China is proud of having the panda, Madagascar should be proud of having the lemurs as our goose laying the golden eggs. Even the lemurs, let's save the lemurs. Don't let them vanish from our forest.
Let's talk about the project. It is a project conducted by Nusimaintu and funded by ZSL, the Zoological Society of London, through its age program. And the vision of this project is to a long-term conservation of the species, and it aims at improving the conservation of the red-ruffed lemur in Masuala. The species, this lemur, is facing a threat. That's why it is a critically endangered species. And the main threat, apart from the hunting, the main threat is habitat loss due to illegal logging of rosewood and precious wood in Masuala recently. So far, as a preliminary result, we found that in terms of group number, there is a diminution of the group number in the site. And also, for the abundance, the total number of individuals observed during our research is decreasing, slightly decreasing.
The aspect of capacity building is the main focus of TBA activities. And capacity building is really about training, providing the skills, the knowledge, the networks that people need to achieve successful conservation outcomes. There's a multiplier effect of capacity building. The Malagasy TBA group had a workshop that was supported by TBA itself, and this led to a further 120 young scientists attending further workshops that the Malagasy TBA had organised. So a clear evidence there of impact of the sort of work that we're doing. Looking ahead, well, who knows what the future really holds. We would love to hold many more courses and involve many more Malagasy students, certainly. Funding is always an issue. We'd be very interested in running workshops, who knows, perhaps with Chevening, with the burgeoning number of conservation master's students from Madagascar. We've been involved in citizen science projects and also protected area management, and Rita mentioned the need for capacity building, certainly amongst park rangers, and TBA would always be willing to listen and learn and come up with appropriate tailor-made courses for that sort of activity.
When you talk with conservationists, go out for drink or go for walk, 9 out of 10 you will come up with this word: extinction and loss. That's why my topic will be about why I still have hope in conservation. As my previous speaker talked about, education is key for conservation. We need to raise awareness to local community, to give awareness to school children. This book is inspired in the curriculum in Madagascar, in 20 Cisco, in 20 districts in Madagascar. And currently it will be in the curriculum in Madagascar. Because the problem in Madagascar is that we don't know much about our biodiversity. We don't know why we should conserve this species because it's not much included in our curriculum. And have a coordination. This morning we talk about investment and business. That is part. We can include that with conservation because it's linked for the sustainable development in Madagascar. We should include private sector, tourism, local community, civil society, government, work together. In that way, we can reduce poverty, and that will lead Madagascar to the development for the next future. Thank you very much.
First one is, within our country, do we have points of encounters, coordination platforms where we do actually talk about conservation issues and broader sustainable development issues, including the economic and trade dimension?
At regional level, yes, but unfortunately at the national level, which should be coordinated within the higher level, like a government level, no. And that is the problem, and that is what you really would like to do, to have, for example, the specialist group for lemurs. They will have a meeting, for example, last year here at Carleton, this year in May, to discuss about the statutes, to revise and to update the statutes of lemurs, and what you have to do is just, and then you invited the ministries to give a talk, to open and then to end, that's all. And then there's no follow-up. So everybody worked on their little corner. But we need to talk, to get together. For example, within the parliament, deputy, when they decided something related to conservation, there is a gap. And that is the reason that we just created this lemur portal, because there is a gap. The university people work at the university, like a different world. The practitioners, like NGO, work at their corners, and the deciders work at their corners. So there's a gap, and that's what you'd like to link the gap, so we can decide for together what should be done in the country and what laws. The co-op, it took years, the co-op to be finished within the parliament.
You know, there is this platform for civil society. It's like AVG, Alliance for Gas. It's more for infraction that exists, but we need more and more higher level. And it's not only in platform, but even there is still lack in our legislation. For example, between Ministry of Forestry and Mining. There is like category 5 in classification of protected area. That means there will be like conservation and also development activity together in this category 5. But there is still this gap between two legislation in Madagascar. So we need to improve more that. Thanks.
There's a donor coordination for biodiversity. There's USAID, GIZ, and other donors. I think the coordination probably should be done on level of the ministry to coordinate donors and some activists like NGOs, local NGOs, and that acts in biodiversity.
Now, from the international development topic and perspective, we could highlight the current efforts on promoting economic diplomacy for a win-win partnership. We have received insight from experts on the opportunity of free trade in the continental level that could unlock the potentials of Madagascar. And the focus has been put on the importance of industrial development and the local added valuation, if to name few. With regard to the second topic, business and investment, we have seen the importance of human capital exposed by our speakers, and it is good to hear that private sector in Madagascar, such as a big company like Rio Tinto, valued local talents to be competitive in the international level. Many business opportunities have been introduced by professionals, in spite of the stereotype view on Madagascar as a risky investment destination. It is acknowledged that progress are on track in terms of improvement of business climate, if to name the predictability and the stability of our legislation. Many initiatives associating biodiversity, protections, and local community development models are now widespread practices. We should highlight, though, that now national experts have been gaining leadership to manage conservation projects.
Now we come to the end of this first ever edition of Chevening Alumni Forum, entitled UK-Madagascar 200-Year Relationship, What Has Been Done and What Is Next. First, I want to thank, on behalf of the Chevening Alumni Madagascar Association, to all of us for making this forum a success. Our appreciation, particularly to our panelists, thank you all for coming over. Thanks, Dr. Clive, Dr. Mila Su, Professor Ratimba Saf, Dr. Nifand, thank you all for coming over to assist us in this and make this forum as more delightful as it can. Last but not least, I thank my fellow Cheveners for making this event happen. For the Chevening Alumni Madagascar, this first edition is done now, but what is next? As Anne said, we will follow up all on that. So what I say to conclude is, so see you all to the next forum. Thank you very much indeed.